Good morning. Finally had a good night's sleep. I fell asleep yesterday at 4 p.m., woke up between 12 and 3, and now I'm alert again, and it's 6:30, so I'm gonna go to the gym. We dock at like 8, and I think our tour is leaving at 9. We're still at sea, as you can see, and today is Bahrain. So we're gonna be seeing Bahrain in real time. I feel so much better today. Going to the gym before the day. I always have 12-hour nights of sleep on cruises. I think it's because it's so peaceful. I feel so chill in the rocking, except that there's a mosquito in our room, as you can see. You like it what you see. Everything designer, that's on me. That's why when I walk, looking like you, just trying to fuck. Yeah, this trip got you in heat. It's jumping, baby girl, hop on this D. Yeah, you know that I'm on beat. All these trips got you happy. Yeah. Girl, I know that you ready. Girl, I'm not gonna let you down. I ain't gonna keep you waiting. If you go ahead, it's gonna get knocked up. You playing hide and seek, I'ma find you. Baby, hold on tight when you ride me. You know I like to eat, give me options. Today's OOTD is from Taobao, and shoes are from a vegan leather store on Orchard Street. What's inside?
Nuts and honey.
Oh, okay. So pretty much everywhere that we went in the Middle East, they gave us samples of this Arabic coffee, which was really aromatic. It had a very strong smell. And then we headed into the port in Bahrain. We had a Chinese tour guide, which we had in pretty much every city because we were traveling with my mom's line dancing group, and they all mainly speak Chinese. Looking like you, just trying to fuck, yeah. This trip got you in heat. It's jumping, baby girl. Then we headed to Bahrain Fort. The history behind it is it appears to have been occupied for about 5,000 years and contains insight into the Copper and Bronze Ages of Bahrain. The first one was built around 3,000 years ago and has generally been termed as Bahrain's most important site in antiquity. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is basically just a settlement that through the years they have inhabited. And they also had this really good cafe that was quite bougie, actually. They had really good cookies, like these vegan cookies. I had one of the vegan cookies that was date flavored. And then they had an ashwagandha cacao smoothie. And being from LA, you know I can't say no to a really good smoothie, especially with an adaptogenic. And so I drank this smoothie and had my cookie while we were touring the ruin. It was along the water, so it was really nice. And during this tour, they told us about how Bahrain, there is a rumor that the Garden of Eden was in Bahrain. But then I Googled it later and realized that it's actually more likely in another area of the Middle East because it is described as being at the intersection of 4 different rivers, which is not in Bahrain. And they were telling us as well that in Bahrain, only very recently women were allowed to drive. And they do have some bars, but it's very few and far between because they are mostly a Muslim country, so you're not supposed to drink generally. And they very recently created, I think, one club and that served alcohol. So that was really interesting. So we're at the Manama Souk. Women couldn't drive here until 2022, and they attract a lot of tourism because they're one of the few neighboring countries that allows alcohol and sex work, which is interesting. Anywho, then we went to a market. We went to the bazaar in Bahrain, and this was actually a pretty established bazaar. It wasn't as busy or having aggressive negotiations like most bazaars that I've been to, but I really, really, really wanted to try the traditional Bahraini food. So we went to this restaurant that had actually 4.5 stars on Google, and this man recommended essentially this plate. Just to add to the fun. You light it up while I'm breaking you down. You gon' knock out by the end of this round. You got me speechless, girl, that pussy no pump. Girl, you're the only one that knows what I want. I'm feeling this shit, I know you feeling it too. I can go deeper, but that's all. There was beef, I believe it was, inside of this little dosa type of situation. And then we got samosas filled with cheese, and he told us to also dip it in honey. And then I got this rose milk, which was really, really good. It was definitely really sweet, but I was glad to have a taste of the local flavor. Rose milk. I also got these coasters because right after this trip, I was moving into my brand new apartment and I wanted to get some fun decor from an international location. Then they told us that we were going to go to another picture taking site, but I didn't really feel like going to the picture taking site. And they also wanted to eat Chinese food, but I wanted to have the traditional food. So while the rest of the group ate the Chinese food, we went to the local Bahraini mall, which was literally one of the nicest malls. And one thing about me is when I'm traveling, I love to see a really good mall because I just love infrastructure. And I feel like the infrastructure in malls is always top tier. And then you can look at the local shopping. And I feel like most locals generally hang out at the mall because it's not so touristy. So for some reason, I just find it so comforting to visit a mall when I'm visiting a foreign location.
And chains. And the British chains.
Can you tell me what's with all this distant love?
Then we went to this Bahraini mosque. We had a really, really excellent, well-versed tour guide that told us all about the mosque and, for instance, described this board that they have at the mosque where you can see the different times that one needs to pray during the day, the 5 times, and also it shows you the direction where Mecca is, which is where you're supposed to point to while you're praying.
Thought you was mine, but you decided to be with him, no. Took my feelings and just threw them out the window. Feel like it's too hard to fall in love again, no.
A Ferrari and you drive a Toyota. It's okay, I drive a Toyota. But in a mosque, you will still stand together. Why people go with the lunar month? Or why did they do it? Because it was the most practical way to do it. You come out of the house, look at the moon. If it's a crescent, it's the first. If it's more, second, third, fourth.
And then at the end of it, they told us to have these dates. And he was like, these are literally the best dates ever. So I had more dates. I definitely had a lot of dates during this trip.
Not as sweet as the American ones, I think.
Then we went to this museum and they had a lot of like archaeology type of things that they were talking about at the museum. But I was getting pretty tired by then, so didn't really listen too intently. But yeah, then we headed back to the boat. So similar to Doha, I think Bahrain can definitely be seen in a day. Another fun fact about Bahrain is that there is a U.S. military base here.
So tonight is the white party on the cruise. So everyone's wearing white. I thrifted this dress and this jacket from 2nd Street. That's our day in Manama, Bahrain, the capital city of Bahrain.
Just gonna tell me more lies, girl. Just gonna get my hopes high, girl.